This story comes straight from the jaw-dropping court coverage by the BBC journalist Helena Wilkinson, who covered every wild moment of the courtroom disaster that was Constance Marten and Mark Gordon's trial. And trust me, this wasn't just a case. It was utter pandemonium. These two were on trial for letting their newborn baby, Victoria, whose tiny life was cut short after they abandoned her in the freezing cold during 53 days on the run in 2023. Instead of grief or remorse, they brought flirting, tantrums and sabotage to the courtroom. Twice. Let's start with the vibe. In the dock, they weren't co-defendants. They were like lovesick teenagers, blowing kisses, whispering, giggling. On her birthday, Marten asked, "Where's my present? Another day?" She shouted at Gordon, "Stop flirting with me," while on trial for the fatal neglect of their baby. Now the courtroom drama unhinged. They refused to show up and again, claimed to be sick, toothaches, stress. Marten once said she was falling asleep in court and asked to leave for coffee mid-testimony. Another time, Gordon's trousers went missing and he turned up in a bright blue prison escape suit. The judge, furious, said he'd never seen anything like it. They changed lawyers like undies, 14 barristers in total. Gordon ended up representing himself. And yes, he cross-examined his own wife. It wasn't strategy. It was awkward. Who was gentle with the baby? "You were," she replied. He called her noble. She cried. He comforted her. Meanwhile, a jury sat there watching two people play out a twisted love story while their deceased child was barely mentioned. And then the big one. Marten blurted out that Gordon had a past conviction for a non-consensual act against a woman, which the jury was never supposed to know. The judge called it deliberate sabotage. It nearly collapsed the entire retrial. Gordon begged to stay on. "I can't do another year in prison," he said. Theatrics. All of it. In July 2025, both were found guilty of gross negligence manslaughter. They refused to stand for the verdict. "It's a scam," Marten snapped. "I'll win the appeal," Gordon smirked. They treated the trial like a performance, flirting, scuffles and blowing kisses. But at the centre of it all was a baby, who never stood a chance. Follow Mug Stories for more true crime breakdowns like this, because sometimes the trial is more twisted than the crime.